Differentiated integration can represent a viable solution to the current challenges that the European Union is facing. But it is true also for migration and asylum policy. The EU IDEA project is looking for an answer, and the event organized by the Barcelona Centre for International Affairs has been an opportunity to discuss current migration challenges and the forms of cooperation among the EU member states. Today, we want to talk about differentiated integration in this policy area with Dr. Emmanuel Comte, Senior Research Fellow at the Barcelona Centre for International Affairs. So, Dr. Comte, talking about this crucial topic for the European Union, especially in the recent years, can we consider differentiation an effective strategy for the EU to deal with external migration pressures?
Let me first clarify that differentiation is not in itself a strategy, it's a tool. And with this tool, you may have a variety of strategies. So differentiation only refers to flexible cooperation among states, including sometimes also subnational entities, on any area of international affairs. What is at stake in the use of differentiation regarding external migration pressure is these various agreements that the European Union has made with neighboring countries that may fulfill functions for the EU to stem migration flows from the global south or the rest of the world. So you have a kind of cooperation with the Western Balkan countries, with Turkey, with Libya, wherever it is in Libya, with Morocco. And there is differentiation in the sense that the European Union doesn't have a simple kind of agreement with these various countries. There is also differentiation in the sense that it's not even always the same procedures, the same framework to reach an agreement. For instance, with Libya, it has often started with bilateral cooperation between Italy and Libya, and then followed by various forms of EU intervention. The same applies for Morocco with Spain. With Turkey, it has been a more directly European intervention, even though Germany has played an essential role in drafting the agreement with Turkey on migration. So this is what we are talking about when we refer to differentiation to manage the EU's external border and the external migration pressure on the EU. So to give precise example, the most famous of those agreements is the EU-Turkey statement of the 18th of March 2016, which ended the large inflows of irregular migrants across the Aegean Sea coming from Syria and Afghanistan. This statement provided that Turkey would readmit any irregular immigrants that had reached Greece from Turkey, and for whom EU states did not recognize the status of refugees. So this particular agreement has been rather successful, so because it is your question, as it is differentiation a successful tool to manage the EU's external pressure. It has been successful in the sense of EU member states. That is what EU member state wanted, was that the flow of irregular migrants declines. And indeed, as early as the end of March 2016, there were very few irregular migrants crossing the EU external border in the Aegean Sea. So it has been successful in this sense. However, it has this instrument has generated two main kinds of problems. The first is that EU member states have become heavily dependent um, on those third countries, for instance, Turkey or Morocco. There has been a recent crisis with Morocco letting migrants pass towards Europe. And so the EU is in an unfavorable relationship with those third countries when it uses differentiation to control its external border. So that's the main problem. And and the second type of problem of differentiation is that it also leads member states to not to take measures within the EU to control the EU's external border. So it's a double-edged sword that is, on the one hand, it has worked in the short run, but in the medium and long run, it's not conducive to an independent management of the EU's external border.
During the event, the Director General of the International Organization for Migration, Antonio Vittorino, stated that there is a clear mismatch in Europe between perception and reality about migration issues, and that often policy choices address more the perception than reality. Can you mention a couple of examples about approaches to migration by the EU member states that move in this direction?
Um, so we have organized this public event in which the Director General of the International Organization for Migration, Antonio Vittorino, has accepted to intervene. So when he said that there is a mismatch between perception and reality about migration in Europe, he refers mainly to two things. The first is that the majority of migrants in Europe come legally and find jobs, often because in order to come legally, they need already to have at least a strong prospect of employment. There are not irregular migrants who just can't find job. And the second thing is that precisely in relation to what we were discussing earlier, the number of irregular migrants coming to Europe, especially through the Mediterranean, has become very low. Whereas there is the perception that Europe is facing a large influx of irregular immigrants. Take, for instance, the current debate in France, where the election campaign has already started. This is very much blatant in the positions of the various contenders.
Thank you, Emmanuel Comte, Senior Research Fellow at the Barcelona Centre for International Affairs, for this discussion on the role of differentiation in migration and asylum policy. And stay tuned on the EU IDEA channels.